Well, Phoebe,
As I was singing earlier, everything is awesome.
when you're part of a team. We haven't seen that movie in forever.
What other? Oh boy, I was gonna start talking about movies, but I don't want to be that podcast that talks about drink recipes either. So.
No.
Or The Crazy Neighbor.
No, I'm done with crazy. I'm full up on crazy.
Now everyone wants to know.
You'll have to write to us and ask us all about our crazy neighbors. We can tell you there.
Yeah, certifiable needs meds. I'm making light, but
No, she's
mentally ill, and it's not nice to make
about
fun, right? But it's so serious that sometimes you have to have a good sense of humor just to get through
It's disturbing.
the day.
Yes. Oh, that did.
As we all know, having a sense of humor to get through the day. What you messing with over there, Mr.?
I have our very high-tech note-taking system
Woo!
right here. As you
So,
can see.
speaking of humor and getting through the day,
Nobody can see.
your note says improv. We went to an improv class, which was so fun. So fun. It's a local venue. There's several of them. I want to try the next one.
Yeah.
And it was really a good time. It was about an hour and a half, and we did all kinds of fun exercises, looked in people's eyes, did listening exercises, talking exercises, train of thought, whatever comes out of your face exercises when we were doing a story. What was our story? It was about, she gave us a script. We were a chemist. What was I? Was I the scientist of the jelly bean factory?
Yes, I think you were the scientist in the jelly bean factory.
And it was something with jelly bean yogurt, or I don't know. It was all made up, obviously, and off of the top of our heads, and hilarious and funny, and so we had a good time doing that. We're trying to try some new stuff and break out of our box, and we needed to add humor into our life, so that's what we did.
Yeah, and part of it was date night and wanting to go do some fun stuff. The other part was trying to work on kind of expanding our public speaking palette, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're doing this thing, and this is one way to do it. And I've done Toastmasters in the past, and
so have I.
Spoken in front of people, taught classes, done all that kind of stuff. But improv's different.
Yes, you are really listening well and just pulling from the ethers, I guess, ideas. You're letting your mind go into that free state, but it's also very organized as well. The teacher was really good at that. She didn't use ums, ahs, ands, ifs, or buts. She was literally telling a story off her sleeve that sounded very real and scripted. She's good.
Yeah, and throwing script ideas at us, kind of interviewing us on the fly. One of the exercises was kind of she represented a magazine, and she was interviewing the 4 people who were running this new company, this made up fictitious company, crazy company with crazy ideas.
Yep.
It was fun.
It was
fun. It was challenging for me at times. I've never been a theatrical person, and that whole like getting into a character thing never really, I have a hard time doing it. Maybe it's because I'm shy. Maybe it's because I'm like reserved. Like, I'm okay being myself, but being somebody else and like getting into a role playing, if you will. Never been really good at that.
Maybe a costume helps, like Tito.
Yeah, well, that's totally different kind of role playing, honey.
Well, we'll talk about Tito here in a second. But I was a little surprised that you found that a little challenging. But now that you've articulated how that's different, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're very comfortable in front of friends or people that you've been around for a while, and you're very funny on your Zoom calls and meetings and such with your coworkers, people that you work with and are familiar with, even people that you aren't familiar with. When we go to swinger parties, you're very hilarious.
Oh, for sure. And that's me being me, though. Like,
Right.
I'm being myself. I'm not in a role. I'm
Right.
not like,
Yeah.
I mean, even on the fly, coming up with a character in my head was hard.
Yeah. The voices were hard.
The voices were hard.
People mimicked a lot of.
Yeah, and I didn't like the improv create a voice on the fly. I needed to get into character a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, if I can't get into character without a voice, how am I going to get into a character with a voice? I can do voices.
Right.
But like, whoop, watch me pull a character out of my hat. I'm not so good. But it's good because
like,
it's practice.
Yeah, like anything, it's a skill, and the more you use it, the easier it becomes.
Which is exactly why we tried the improv class, so that we could try something different and get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, it's good to stretch yourself. I love being in a character. I think I do that. I become more animated around people because I like their energy. I kind of feed off their energy because I'm a natural introvert, but I've learned to become an ambivert, and it's easy for me to be. I kind of call it an energy vampire. I suck off their energy, and it makes me almost chameleon-like sometimes. But
I will say, in the improv class, you were way better at coming up with characters and being in character than I was, for sure.
I liked the freedom just to be wild and stupid and crazy, and I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm so used to presenting as a voice of authority, or coming from a place of knowledge, like a teaching kind of perspective.
Right.
That making up nonsense, I can't do it. But you got very much into the goofy characters, and you had a good time. It was
you just reminded me of what was the spaghetti in the sky? What's the spaghetti in the sky character thing? It's a cartoon or a child thing, or it's a phrase. Noodles in the sky, or
the spaghetti monster in the sky?
Yeah. You taught me about that.
Oh, well, that's a religious thing.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a childhood.
Yeah, no, it's about the great spaghetti monster in the sky.
That's a religious thing?
It's a religion that someone created in order to
explain certain things.
Yes, and
or make fun of certain things.
Well, and to make the point that anyone's deity could be anything, and that religion is no less ridiculous than anybody else's faith. So, there you go.
Got it.
That was a tangent.
I know, but it was a fun tangent, right? Because tangents are fun.
Because spaghetti's good.
Spaghettis.
So yeah, we're gonna do some more improv stuff probably.
Yes, we should.
And definitely
we should put that on the calendar. Writing it down right now.
One of the other things that we did kind of in conjunction with that was, and I'll say, if you're looking for a fun date night, I highly recommend going and doing an improv class with your partner, or maybe a potential, date. It's a little bit of a commitment, but it's kind of cool because you break down those stuffy barriers. There's a lot of icebreaker kind of exercises.
Yeah.
And this was a group of complete strangers that by the end of the night we kind of had I could picture.
Ooh, that would be a fun way to get to know another couple, because I noticed there were a lot of similarities. At the end of an hour and a half, the similarity between hanging out with the improv group and hanging out with a bunch of swingers, I felt very connected to them. I felt a sense of belonging. And
Yeah, because everybody was vulnerable with each other.
yeah, I wanted their phone number. I wanted to come back and hang out with them because I felt like I really got to know them and we had a good time.
Right.
And that's what's so fun about swinger events, is the same thing occurs.
Yeah. We also went to a open mic night at that same club.
Yes.
In addition to their classes, they also have a stand-up club, and we went there, and
I was inspired. I thought, gosh, I could get up there and tell a really good story about my life.
yeah,
Lots of stories about my life.
yeah. It's something that I think you and I have both talked about or thought about, kind of fantasizing about, like, could we do stand-up? I don't know if I'm that funny. I don't know if I could do it. And remembering back to Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah.
And was it Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Anyway,
Yes.
Great show till the last season. Third episode gets a little crazy. But the point about that is she talks about having a routine, having a tight 15, and being able to string together a story and keep the pace and wait for the timing and interact with the audience. And to do all that, like, it's
an art.
Serious performance.
And then bring it back. A good comedian is a good storyteller, and then they
a
loop.
really good comedian will do that.
They loop the thread back through and connect.
They'll keep dropping these little things, and then at the end, they'll sew the whole thing up into a bow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've been impressed by a number of comedians who do really well telling stories.
Yes, we have a new comedian we're going to listen to tonight.
Oh, yeah. He was good.
But I did drop the hint about Tito. I do just want to...
You want to touch on Tito?
Well, yeah. Tito is a character that dresses up as for theme parties. He's a convict, actually, and you've got a nice orange suit and you wear a beanie and your tats are showing and you look, and especially when you grow
the goatee
man, you look completely different, and it's fucking hot.
Wow. Phoebe gets very moist
when
I dress as Tito.
I love Tito. So
the bad boy.
Yeah, that role playing, it's fun. I've done that before. Maybe we do that for our upcoming speaking engagement.
Oh, role playing. Oh, ooh. How to do role playing? I better take some more improv classes because if I gotta get into character.
Yeah.
It definitely takes you out of your comfort zone, and it takes you out of your routine, which is one of the other reasons why we decided to do the improv thing. But the role playing thing too, it's kind of twofold. It gives you that opportunity to try something that you haven't done before. So to kind of break into novelty, or break out of habituation, to dishabituate things. Or the other aspect of it is it gives you the freedom to express yourself, and because it's, quote, not you, it's somebody else, then you can kind of do things that you wouldn't normally do. Mm-hmm. Oh, we were watching, God, I can't remember her show, but Caitlin V.
Mm-hmm.
And she had one of her clients role-playing as a dom, role-playing as a very dominant, kind of hyper-aggressive male persona. And he really liked it, and his girlfriend really liked it.
Yes.
Like, she was like, oh, I kind of like this.
And he bought different clothes. He basically got into that character all day.
Yeah, it was like a method acting kind of a thing.
And he found that was really fun for him. He didn't really know that until he tried it. And that's what I love about the lifestyle, is you get into these situations with trusted couples or in an orgy situation, and something new comes up and you're like, wow, that was a lot of fun. I would have never thought to do this or try that.
Right.
The other thing about the improv that's great if people want to try it is, here you are in a long-term relationship and you have to get back into dating again, and swinging is really can be awkward in that regard, and having to flirt with people. And so maybe an improv class would be a fun way to kind of just break out of that box.
Right.
Before you go to a swingers event, if you're feeling nervous, we certainly were very, very nervous doing that. And we sucked at flirting. I sucked at flirting. You were really good at it. But we sucked at walking up to people cold and talking to them.
Approaching people is always terrifying.
Had to give ourselves homework, and we really had to work on that.
Yeah. Finish up on one point and then go back to that in terms of like character and role playing. It's interesting because the exercise that Caitlin V had that gentleman go through was to help with his ED. He was having erectile dysfunction issues. And if you listen to our last episode about ED, where we talk about it, and I talk about my ED issues in the lifestyle, it was that breaking out, that getting out of your head aspect of the role playing, because he wasn't himself.
Right.
He was focused so much on the character that he didn't have time to think about what was going on down there. And it worked.
It did work.
100%. It worked for him.
It was phenomenal.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was stoked.
So it very much illustrates that, a lot of ED issues are mental, and
and it feeds on itself, and sometimes you just get in this loop and you can't get out.
Especially in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I would say, unless you're having physiological issues with the ED, and we won't rehash the whole episode here, if it is a mental thing, then it's figuring out some cool tricks to kind of break out of your head, break out of that tunnel vision on penis. What's going on with the penis? Just ignore him. He's all right. He can do his own thing. Let him sort it out.
So glad we don't have that issue. We may not feel anything, but
women, yeah.
We're like,
Yeah, a little bit of lube and some moaning, and
you never know.
You never know.
Never know. A little
Unlike
fake,
guys
little
are
fake
like
shake.
Pushing the gummy worm up against the just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Although I have tried, like after a really long session and I still want to like go at it, I will I will feed the worm in.
Feed the worm in. You're like, it feels so good in there.
Back into your happy place. Speaking of happy places, we did our first We Got a Thing meet and greet.
Yay.
We talked about doing meet and greets. We've talked about trying to do some more local community kind of stuff, trips down to San Francisco. So we did it. We organized a meet and greet with 2 We Got a Thing couples who could attend, and a third couple who had introduced themselves, reached out to us
just
to say hi.
Heard the podcast, knew we were local, and reached out.
Yeah, and so we invited them along too.
Said, come
Check
on
it out.
over. It was nice. I was a little nervous about the planning of it, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I tried to keep it very simple, very meet and greet, and I didn't plan a lot. I didn't pre-plan where we were going to eat. I figured we're all adults and we'll figure out when we get there. And it was interesting that I, in my mind, thought we were all going to go to a restaurant and eat together. But people just did what they wanted to, and we were all in a group chat, thank goodness, because you could either show up where we were going to be or not. And some people chose to sleep in or take a nap or whatever.
Right.
But we ended up eating basically just right around the corner from the hotel, and it was
Little bar.
it was
right
like
next door, yeah.
like a early dinner snack that just basically turned into dinner because the pizza was so damn good.
It was really good. It's really good pizza.
I mean, it was handmade and pizza oven. The crust was incredible. What did we have? We had the
margarita pizza.
Yeah. That was the best margarita pizza I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, basil, cheese,
Thank
sauce.
you, San Francisco.
It's good stuff. Yeah, so you make a really good point, and that was we had two things structured and planned. One was we're going to stay at this hotel, and we didn't say you need to stay at the hotel. We didn't have a block of rooms. It was nothing like that. It was just we'll be here. Put the flag in the ground, little Swinger University flag in the ground, and we're going to go to this event that night.
Yeah.
And people showed up. They did their own thing, sort of. It was very organic.
Yeah, and everyone got along. I was pleasantly surprised.
It was super cool.
The conversation flowed. It was easy. People were funny. People enjoyed themselves. Yeah. Everyone seemed like they got to talk and converse with everyone. We had breakfast together. Some people arrived the day before. So, yeah, it was nice. Oh, and we went to the Sex Museum, which is in Good Vibes.
To be specific, it is a vibrator museum.
Correct. Yes, that is true. It is a vibrator museum.
And it's really cool to see kind of that. It's neat. They have a timeline up on the wall. I think we've talked about this, but there was a timeline on the wall of kind of like the history of sex toys or vibrators. And you start to realize that creating like mechanical vibrating health aids as they first started dates all the way back to like the late 1800s. I mean, like way back.
Yeah.
Way back, like predating electricity.
Yes.
And I found this hilarious. I'd noticed this before, but I remember seeing it again this time. And that was when the electric system was set up in homes, they had one kind of socket because it was for the Edison bulb. So all of the electrical sockets in buildings were for bulbs. So this particular vibrator, because we didn't have wall plugs, I don't have a wall plug I can just pull and show you. Otherwise, something would turn off in here, which would be funny. They had a socket-based cord. So you would basically unscrew your light bulb, screw in your vibrator into the socket, and ta-da, you have electricity. That's how ingenious they were. That's how like, oh, you really want this toy. As a matter of fact, we're going to game the system so that you can plug in an appliance to this thing.
Once again, if it's going to give you pleasure, we are going to find a way.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. I mean, this is just over and over and over and over again.
I mean, the entire VHS industry was
which is why
grew incredibly
dumb
because of porn.
It's dumb to suppress sexuality and sexual behavior because we're sexual beings. It's part of who we are. We eat, we sleep, we have sex. Yeah. We experience pleasure.
Sure.
So stop trying to suppress it. It's a part of who we are. It's innate to our being. So just knock it off.
With the Puritan porn ban that just went in, where they were requiring ID in all of these different states, VPN sales like shot through the roof because everybody's like, screw that. I'm going to log in through California to Pornhub.
How does VPN sales work? How do you purchase a VPN?
It's software.
Oh,
you just buy it. I have some on my phone, so when I'm in the Wi-Fi hotspots, I can at the airport.
Oh, so that you don't you're protected. Your phone's protected. What? This always happens. He has the technology or the fancy fast computer before I do. What about my protection?
That's why we have condoms, honey.
Oh my God. What about when I'm on the Wi-Fi at the airport? I'm not protected.
We'll get you the VPN set up. Typically, I'm doing the banking.
Ew.
And you're not. You're looking at social media files.
I am
posting
my emails.
all of the stuff.
All the stuff.
So I'm less concerned about them getting into that. But
okay. Cool.
so
What- Let's talk about the Hump Festival.
well, I was going to get to that.
Perfect.
That's item number 3 on the
Perfect.
super fancy, highly technical
Yes. So tell him.
Hump
Dan,
Fest. According
by-
to the introduction at the beginning of the film festival, has been going for 100 was it 125 years? 100 years?
It's not.
It was a big joke.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, their 20th anniversary, which was pretty cool.
Yes.
It was started by Dan Savage, and it's basically a collection of 1 to 5 minute long porns.
Yeah.
Short, sexy, either porn or sensual or
Kink.
you name it. It's just
Everything.
kind of sexually oriented in some capacity.
Right.
Hence the
Amateur.
name.
Yeah.
Hump.
Yeah.
And we'd never been before.
Right.
It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Really well done too.
Yes.
Like most
Yes.
of the films, with the maybe 1 or 2 of them that didn't have quite as high a quality, the production value on them was like pretty impressive. Like some of them were like professional looking.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I was a little nervous because we were with new people and I don't know how open they are or how comfortable they are with their sexuality. Yes, they're swingers, but I hadn't had a chance to really find out how new to swinging are
Right.
you. And so I was a little nervous for them or their orientation, right? Are they going to be offended? I don't know.
Right. Well,
It was,
the Oregon couple,
Yeah.
the woman in that couple, she was really excited at how far it was going to push the boundaries of her husband. Like she was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be good." She was being a little devious.
yeah.
It was so they do a preface at the beginning. He kind of does an introduction and talks about, the assholes are on the screen, not in the audience. So don't be an asshole.
Right.
In other words, these are all people who've like poured their heart and soul into this for
Yeah.
2 minutes to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage to put
yeah.
yourself up on a big screen.
Oh, yeah.
I went through something similar when I did an intro video for work, and we all put our videos up on screen, and you're kind of like amongst your peers, how are they going to take this?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even naked in that movie doing sex things. So
Right.
like you're putting yourself out.
Now, Dan was actually at our show and spoke in person.
Which was cool.
I know, it was so exciting. We were gushing because, Dan.
We're fanboy.
Fan,
fangirl.
yeah. So we got to see him. He got to speak, and then we saw his introduction video, which is part of the
Baked
film
in, yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
And the festival is going all over the U.S. and in some foreign countries as well. So if you really want to go to the Hump Film Festival, Google that. It'll come right up, and
Yep.
then you can find out where it's showing. They're adding new locations all the time.
Yeah.
So Sacramento wasn't a location, or it was, but now it is. So it's going to be in our area on April 5th for one day. They opened in San Francisco for 2 weeks, the running show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really wanted to be there for the opening, and we did, and we went, and it was awesome. And I will definitely go again next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting because the preface that he did at the beginning, besides telling the audience to keep it civil, He definitely said react to it, have your feelings, but at the same time be respectful, which totally get. He had said that there might be things in the films that would, push your boundaries and that you might not be comfortable with. And that's okay, because it only lasts a few minutes. So just, cover your eyes if you need to, et cetera, et cetera. So at this point, everybody in the audience is like, what the fuck is going to be on the screen? I'm a little, all right.
Yeah.
I've seen some shit on the internet, but not in a theater full of people before.
Yeah.
So I had a moment of hesitation in my mind going, what's going to be in here?
Yeah.
How crazy are these people going to get on film?
I felt very good after seeing those films because I could look back at my comfort level over the years, and 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, if I had gone to that film festival, I would have been very uncomfortable. And leaving that theater after, I was like, been there, done that, seen it, know it. Nothing new for me, because we really have grown in the lifestyle, and in the lifestyle you see a lot, and then as content creators we see even more. So
for sure. And I'll say the same. I don't think I saw anything there that really shocked me. I mean, sure, there were a couple funny ones where it was like, oh, okay, that was really uncomfortable, and I'm sure that fucking hurt. I wouldn't want that done to me, but at the same time, like, it wasn't any different than watching piercing done or any kind of. I'm even gonna say heavy impact play. We've probably seen heavier impact play in real life than we did in the film festival.
Even at the BDSM munches, we've seen photographs of some beautiful mandalas on people's skin.
The needle play.
Very intricate, and probably over 120 needles. And that was way more graphic than what we saw at Hump.
There was the one scene where the woman was suspended and they were using the medical staple gun to connect all of the weights and the chains.
Even that to me was kind of like
the first few, that click clack sound was a little I like twitched a little bit, but I got used to it. And I would even say I was actually a little surprised that there wasn't more gay sex, if you will, the classical man-on-man love. I think there was only like one film, and it was really artistic. So you had a hard time telling what was going on anyway. There was a mud bath involved in the whole thing, and it was almost more like synchronized swimming in mud than like actual sex. But you could see shapes and bodies, and
I would say you would probably see more at the Winter Fire or the summer. What's the summer event that's done back east? That Winter Fire.
Summer camp.
Summer camp. You'd probably see more at those.
In terms of like kink and BDSM?
Correct.
Oh, for sure.
And you would see more at the Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco every year.
Yeah, you'd see a lot
than
more
what you'd see
graphic stuff.
Yeah. But it makes sense that he needs to make it palatable to a wide audience.
Well, or at least artistic. And I think that was the thing that made it a little bit softer, was that it was done in such an artistic way where you were
humorous.
There were some
funny,
fucking hilarious things. There was a slasher flick at the end that was all like, a dildo armed, killer going around killing people with a dildo. It was fucking hilarious. And of course the sock puppet. So if you're curious about seeing
Way
that,
too much.
I know I'm not going to tell all of them because you got to see the film, and some of the films are streamed too. So if you do look up Hump Fest, I don't know if the current film festival is streaming, but I know that some of the films from the past are streaming.
Oh, cool.
So you can kind of check them out. The fun thing was when we were leaving and we were driving home from this weekend, what were we doing in the car?
I don't know.
Trying to figure out what our film was going to be for the film
That's
fest.
true. Yes, that's
we're like,
right.
what could we do? What could we do? Because it was fun.
It was fun. I know. I really wanted to create a film and submit it.
Yeah.
One of my ideas was glory holes, and then you had another idea that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest, and not say.
We won't tell you because it's our secret.
In case we decide to do it.
So yeah, Hump Fest was a success. The meet and greet was a success. We had a good time. I was disappointed by one thing. Because Dan Savage was actually there, I really, really wanted to meet Dan Savage.
We probably could have hit that. Oh, if I had opened that email, there was like a
pre-party thing.
Yes, and I got home and I was filing my emails, and I'm like, "What's this thing?" I thought it was just the tickets.
And you're way better at that than I am.
Oh, it just got buried in my email. I need to unsubscribe from a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
I can choose my consumption of information. I'm overloaded with scientific information of health and wellness and sexual well-being, etc., etc.
And there's only so many hours in the day and only so much you can do.
And speaking of wellness, one little personal tidbit is we're still doing the vegetarian way of eating, and we've nixed the fake meats because I'm not a fan of those. There was a few brands that I liked, but we're like, why bother? And then they
didn't cook very well either. Yeah.
And the fake cheeses I'm not a fan of, although there are some better. The technology's getting better, but
we could look at those.
We're still eating grilled cheese, but you found some really good recipes, and honestly, I feel great, and the flavor's way better. So this is kind of fun. We're back in the grocery store. We post-COVID, we just really got used to having our groceries delivered, and now we're back in the grocery store and shopping for our food because it's more fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a Thursday night apparently is the night to go because nobody was there.
Yeah, damn place was empty. It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out how to do it affordably because prices are going up for everything.
Well, don't eat eggs.
The eggs are insane.
We can do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Anything else?
What do we have next? What do we have going soon? Heading back down to Southern California for a little thing.
Vanilla thing.
Yeah, vanilla thing.
Potentially, probably 80%, 90% sure we're headed to Colorado in May.
Yep.
We're going to hang out with the We Got a Thing group. They've got an event going on there. We may not attend their event, but we are definitely going to Scarlet Ranch.
Yeah.
On the Saturday night of their event.
For sure. And we'd probably do an all day at Scarlet Ranch or at least a really
if they have an all day
good portion of it.
I think Sunday's fun day, and I think that's all day, but I don't think they have an all day for Saturday.
Maybe Saturday's not an all day thing.
Yeah.
We have never gone because the last time we were doing swingy things in Colorado, we just did a house party because we didn't want to pay the annual membership to Scarlet Ranch to go for one day because we knew we weren't going to go again that year, and it was like $80. So
they dropped the price a little bit. So
well, and we're gonna eat the cost, and we're just gonna do it because there's gonna be people there that we know, and
we're gonna do
all
it.
that. We're just gonna do it.
Yep,
do it,
and then give a good story to my mom.
Plausible deniability. for sure.
Yeah, so that's coming up in May. A couple little mini vacations or things that we're doing vanilla on the side, and then San Antonio for later in the year in October.
Yeah.
Haven't planned out what else is going on, but I really want to take a trip to Mexico, not for lifestyle, but just to really see
what it's like down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to stay on the West Coast where the flights are a little cheaper, and we now that I was going to say can get home easily, I'm not so sure we can get home once we get into Mexico.
Yeah.
With this administration,
things are a little crazy right now with
I
travel.
might get locked out of the country.
Yeah. Or the FAA shuts down because they don't have people. Who knows?
Right. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for us. And you're all caught up on the latest comings and goings. And we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Thanks for joining us.